Center for Innovation in Campus Mental Health's Conversations Over Coffee video series. My name is Perlin, and I am the Research and Knowledge Exchange Coordinator for the Center. Joining us today is Tanya Miller, and she is from Healthy Minds, Healthy Campuses in BC. Obviously, she flew in today all the way from BC just for this. No, I'm kidding. Tanya is also here to attend our annual conference, so we're very fortunate to have her here today. And we're also trying to squeeze out every last drop from her. Tanya is the provincial coordinator for Healthy Minds, Healthy Campuses. And Healthy Minds, Healthy Campuses is more or less our BC counterparts in the sense that they do very similar work as us here at the center in terms of building capacity on campuses to enhance student well-being. Really, they're like our cool, sophisticated cousins out west, really. So today we're going to be talking about the Okanagan Charter. Tanya, maybe you can give us a little bit of background about the Okanagan Charter.
Sure, and thanks for having me. So the Okanagan Charter was the result of an international conference that happened in June 2015 in the Okanagan in Kelowna, where 45 different countries were represented to come together and establish a way to promote health and well-being on campuses.
So what is in the charter exactly?
Well, it's very comprehensive.
It's a big question. It's a big question.
But there are primarily two calls to action. One of them being to embed well-being into all aspects of campus culture, and the second is to commit to leading health promotion locally and globally.
So I've read the charter, and it does call on post-secondary institutions to ensure health and well-being in all aspects of campus culture, whether it's students, staff, just anyone on campus. So why should any institution adopt the charter, in your opinion?
Well, I think it signals to the community that the institution is invested in the health and well-being of its members, and the charter is really a mechanism to help guide and mobilize the integration of well-being into its policies and practices and decisions. So like I was saying, the second call to action is to promote well-being locally and globally. And I think that post-secondary institutions have a unique opportunity and a responsibility to promote research and innovation and make evidence-informed decisions and really model practices that can benefit society as a whole.
So who has adopted the charter so far?
So far there are 10 campuses who've adopted. The first 6 to adopt were Simon Fraser University, the University of British Columbia, the University of Calgary, Mount Royal University, the University of Lethbridge, and Memorial University. And since then, King's College at Western University, the University of Saskatchewan, McMaster University, and the University of Guelph have adopted it. So it's really spread across Canada.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. What about outside of Canada? Do you know of? Because the Okanagan Charter is, I guess, supposed to be international.
Movement.
Do you know if anyone else has done so? Anywhere else?
Not that I know of. I know there's interest, and more domestically as well within Canada. There's a lot of buzz in BC and Ontario and Quebec, but I can't confirm any except for the 4 organizations who are endorsing it.
So there is a lot of interest though. Why do you think, so if there's interest, why do you think it hasn't happened yet?
In adopting it? Well,
is it very involved?
It is a commitment, and so that depends on resources available, capacity, and willingness. And I think also involves evaluation of how current policies and practices already function in order to integrate that well-being aspect into it. So it could be considered a lot of work, but definithes beneficial in the long run.
So say that a university or college was interested in formally adopting the charter. What does that involve really?
It varies, but there is a statement of adoption that institutions can sign and release to the public. And then it really involves them committing to the 2 calls to action and showcasing how they will do that.
So looking at the universities that have adopted the charter, I think one of the early ones you mentioned was Calgary. Have and you might not be able to speak to this, but have you seen changes that have happened at the university before and after adopting the charter? Like what happened really? What difference did adopting the charter make?
Yes, absolutely. The University of Calgary has a spectacular mental health department and resources specifically dedicated to that. And they have since released their campus-wide mental health strategy, which includes students, faculty, staff, administration, stakeholders, really coming from a whole campus approach. And they've been such a leader in promoting campus mental health since then.
So it was actually the charter that made the difference, adopting the charter?
It helped mobilize that action.
I guess it's almost like a rallying point, really, and now you have something that you're working towards, and it's very clear in everyone's minds that this is almost like our goal, like our mission for the campus.
It spells it out.
Yes, yes. So we're definitely seeing more campuses moving towards that holistic, whole campus approach, even if they haven't adopted something like the Okanagan Charter. Why do you think there's so much convergence on this one idea that the whole campus approach is something to work towards?
Which is so fantastic to see. I think it's starting to be established as a best practice, even as campuses grow and evolve. It's a sustainable way to foster environments where all campus members can thrive. And really all campus community members share the common goal of wanting to reach their full potential. And well-being is essential to achieving that. And that's across all disciplines, research, teaching, learning, and engagement. And so everyone has a stake in the social and environmental determinants of well-being.
For sure. So Healthy Minds Healthy Campus has been around for more than a decade now.
13 years.
13 years. And while you personally haven't been there the entire time, I'm just curious, like in terms of looking at the organizational history of Healthy Minds Healthy Campuses and the work you've done over the years and how things has changed, what do you think has been happening in BC over these last 15 years in terms of mental health on campus? What are the changes that you've seen or your organization has seen?
A lot. From what I've heard, Healthy Minds, Healthy Campuses was really born out of a crisis. And there were strong associations between mental illness and crime and mental illness and violence. And so they still exist to a degree, unfortunately, but we have been shifting that perspective over the last 13 years. And we moved into a community of practice model where we could enact a whole campus approach. And so we're starting to see more interest and understanding in health promotion and also in prevention and early intervention. We're seeing more transdisciplinary and cross-sector relationships and capacity in resources and services and supports for mental health and well-being, and in meaningful ways.
Do you think there was ever a tipping point in terms of some of those things? So for example, that interest in health promotion. Do you think there was something that happened, or was it just a natural build-up? This was just the way that things were going?
That's also a good question. There did seem to be a bit of momentum prior to the charter and the conference. For example, at Simon Fraser University, there is a health promotion department, and that isn't just specific to physical health or mental health, but encompasses both, and that includes healthy relationships with food and substances. So it's really the full spectrum, which is what we encourage as well.
For sure. You have a pretty strong community of practice in BC, and what brought it to this point? Because it's, getting people together to talk at the same table is hugely important, but sometimes difficult to manage as well. What do you think were the factors in bringing people together to talk about mental health on campus?
Well, like I said, that shared interest and goal, but also giving students more of a voice, more of a say in how their campus is run.
In their own mental health as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So bringing it back to the Okanagan Charter, we're coming up to the 1-year anniversary of the signing on October 31st, and you will be, CMHABC is going to be formally endorsing the charter. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, we're very excited to join 3 more organizations across Canada to endorse the charter as opposed to adopting it because we are an organization. But it's really just to show support for the 10 institutions who have already adopted it and the many more who are considering it, and hoping to encourage our communities of practice to join that conversation as well.
And what was CMHA's involvement with the charter and Healthy Minds, Healthy Campuses? Like, what did you do with the charter during its conception?
Well, we co-led the conference that was held in Kelowna, and then from that and the feedback, we were able to incorporate it into a more modern, updated document that reflects what we're hoping to achieve in the short and long term through health promotion.
And are you actively promoting the charter to people? I mean, it is something that a lot of people do know about, and I'm just wondering if there are channels in which the Okanagan Charter is actively talked about. I mean, obviously, this is one of the ways we have conversations about it, but are there any other channels?
Yes, I promote it every day.
You live it.
I live it. I breathe it. But when I'm on a campus or a campus is considering developing a mental health strategy, then I always suggest that they consider reviewing the Okanagan Charter as well, because they're such compatible ideas and activities.
And what's the usual response to that? Are people genuinely interested and excited? Yeah.
Very receptive.
Have you ever encountered either pushback or just, oh, what is the charter? I've never heard of it. I'm sure that has happened.
Lots of questions. No criticism yet. I think that might be a universal win, health promotion.
In your mind, like looking back at where BC is right now, what do you think the future holds? That sounded like a huge question, but I will narrow it down to campus mental health.
Well, since the provincial policy since the provincial mandate to have a sexualized violence policy on campus happened, there has been more interest in having mental health policies as well. So we're starting to see more campuses who are interested in developing a mental health strategy or considering it, but also working groups and committees, and also more community collaboration and investment, and like I said, involving students who have a key role to play.
What about the role for Healthy Minds, Healthy Campuses? What are you working on right now?
Well, after 13 years, we've accomplished a lot, but there's still a long way to go. So we are hoping to engage more of the rural and remote campuses, our Indigenous community partners, and also see how the community might be able to take more ownership of the community of practice.
What does that mean?
Well, the community of practice already belongs to the community of practice. I am just a steward to facilitate that. But really having it decentralizing from CMHABC and having it live on campuses and including them more in what happens with Healthy Minds, Healthy Campuses.
That makes sense, yeah. So what's your next webinar topic?
The next one is on accommodating addiction, which has to do with the legal and policy lens of the duty to inquire or duty to accommodate on workplaces and on campuses. And all of our webinars are recorded and archived on our website, which is healthycampuses.ca.
That's great. Well, that was really great discussion, Tanya. Thanks for coming here and sharing all of that with us. So if you'd like to see more of this, Please subscribe to our newsletter by going onto our website at campusmentalhealth.ca and leaving your email on the top right-hand corner. And this is how you will get any news, updates, and post-secondary mental health from us. And if you found this video useful, please leave a comment because we would really love to hear your thoughts on promoting well-being on campus. And share this with your colleagues. Thanks for watching.